Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to another session where we will be exploring our ability task. I am Miss Sims, and it's a pleasure to be here to explore these tasks with you today. So now that we're here, and I see a number of you joining in, please go ahead and share this live with your friends. I did not prepare for this one, or rather, I didn't plan for this one. So a lot of persons may not know about it. Go ahead, share it with your friends. And as usual, I want to know which school you are joining from. So go ahead in the chat and just type the name of your school and let's begin. All right, so today we won't be long. In fact, we will just be exploring uh, two or three items about using graphs and so on, and the others we will be doing about three regarding rules and patterns. All right, so I want your full participation. Go ahead and share your responses in the chat. Welcome from Friendship Primary, Port Morant Primary, Brownstown, Huntley. All right. Okay. Welcome, Kaylee. Great. All right. Welcome from Romaines. Okay. Townhead Primary, Denver Primary. So let's get into this. All right, so the first task we're going to look at today is this past paper question that says the diagram below shows how Paula spends her earnings in 1 month. If Paula spent $8,000 on bills for the month, about how much money did she save? Of course, you might have seen this question before, but I need to know your reasoning behind whatever response you choose. So go ahead and try to work this out. Share your answer in the chat. Share the amount, so $16,000 or $4,000 or $2,000 or $1,000. Go ahead and share that in the chat. And not A, B, C, D, so we can follow what you are calculating. As well, when you share your answer, I would like for you to put a sentence or two explaining or justifying your answer. Your sentence could be calculation as well as it could be words. All right. Welcome, Effortville, Burnt Savannah, St. Aloysius, Holland Primary, Frankfield, Thompson Town Primary, and Infant. All right, so let's get into it. So the diagram here shows how Paula spends her earnings in 1 month. So that means Paula works, and whatever she works for, her salary or pay is called her earnings, and she makes some money each month. So this for this particular month, whatever her earning was, she spent it on these things. So as you can see here, she spent it on transportation, on savings, on bills, and on food. So if Paula spent $8,000 on bills for the month, about how much money did she save? Okay, Damonish, I see you're saying $2,000 because $16,000 is the total, and half of 16,000 is 8,000. So the other half have to be added up to 8,000. All right. All right. So okay. So now your explanation, Damanish, is somewhat incomplete. It's good so far, but it's somewhat incomplete because I should see your explanation working down to when you end up with $2,000. All right, Shanoy says 16,000 and I am from, okay, great, Gardner Hill, welcome. All right, Lori Hayes says $2,000. $8,000 is half of her pay. Such a quarter of it is $4,000. Half of that is $2,000. All right, so your explanations are fine so far, and I would love for us to attend to precision in the sense where we're using our units, we're not leaving off our dollar sign, and instead of using it, I want to know what it is. So here for Lori Hay, she said $8,000 is half of her pay. All right, so I want you to tell me, how do you know that $8,000 is half of her pay? And then you went further to say, check quarter of it. Check quarter of what? Check quarter of her pay? Or because if you're saying check quarter of it and you're referring to the $8,000 which you just spoke about, it would not be $4,000. So what you're talking about? What is quarter of it? All right. So I want you to talk and explain like that. Emily, I choose 2,000. Okay, I think you mean $2,000 because it said she spent $8,000 for bills, and $8,000 is half of 16,000. A quarter of the circle would be 4,000, and half of the quarter is 2,000. All right, your units though, you need to ensure you have your units on, okay? All right, Kaylee says $2,000, but what about your explanation? All right, Damanish says food is quarter of $4,000, half of four. Okay. All right. So I'm not understanding what you're saying here, Damanish, because you're giving me numbers, but I don't know half of what, and where you're working from. Shamila, $2,000, 8,000 is half of her paycheck. Quarter of it is 4,000. Half of that is 2,000. Okay. Welcome, Andreen. My answer is $2,000. That's but B squad. The whole amount represents $16,000, and savings represents an eighth of the whole amount. All right. I love your explanation so far, B squad. So you're saying savings represent an eighth of the whole amount. So 1/8 of $16,000 is $2,000. That is brilliant, B squad. That is brilliant. And that is one way of responding to it, one way of looking at this question. And your explanation is excellent. I love it. Very good. All right. So quarter of 16. Okay. Damanish, let me hear what Tahira Wright has to say. Half of 8,000 is 4,000. Is food half of 4,000? I'm not understanding. Megan Weirdo says $2,000 because $8,000 equals to half. So the total is $16,000. So a quarter of $4,000. So a quarter equals $4,000. So a quarter of 16, or explanation is a quarter of $16,000 is 4,000. So 1/8 equals savings and transportation. So 1/8 of $16,000 is $2,000. All right, Megan, that's pretty good as well. That's pretty good. All right. Lori says that the pie chart shows the half of her paycheck goes to bills. Brilliant. This is what I wanted someone to say. Because how is it that you came up with this $16,000 in the first place? How did you arrive at the fact that $8,000 is half? So Lori Hay Bent said that the pie chart shows that half of her paycheck goes to bills. And if you pay $8,000 on bills, times 2 equals $16,000. Quarter of our paycheck is $4,000, and half of the $4,000 is $2,000. Very good, Lori Hay. So that is what I wanted persons to start with. You know that half of her bills, half of her earnings goes to bills, and if that is $8,000, it means that everything else is also $8,000. You put everything together, the other half with the bills half, you'll get your $16,000. I wanted to hear persons explaining from that angle. Very good, guys. Very, very good. I'm really proud of all these explanations coming in. So proud. So yes, you are definitely correct. You are definitely correct so far based on what you guys are saying and what we can observe here. Half of our earnings is on bills. And right here it said that $8,000 is spent on bills. So we know that right here is $8,000. And the other half must be equal to this half. So the other half, the savings, the transportation, and food, all those three things, $8,000 is used for those three things. It is observed that half of this half, which is a quarter of the whole thing, as someone had said, so this means that a quarter of $16,000 because the 8,000 for bills and the 8,000 for this side, which is savings, transportation, and food, would give us 16,000 in total. And so we know that a quarter of 16,000 will be $4,000. And if we look right here, it may not be drawn to scale, but the intention is to have these two parts here, transportation and savings, being equal. And if you notice, then this would represent 1/8 of the whole, or it will represent a quarter of this half. So you guys had done some lovely explanation. Very good, Kadeen. Tahira, very good, guys. Very good. So yes, after all calculations, I see everyone doing their calculations, and I think I actually should do that too, because persons may be looking on and not quite explaining. So here, understanding. So here, bills is $8,000. So I'm gonna put that right here. Bills is $8,000. And that is half. So it means then that whatever is on this side is also $8,000. You would realize that this $8,000 cut in half of this $8,000 is for food. So half of that 8,000 that we're talking about here is 8,000 divided by 2, which is $4,000. So food is $4,000. Then we know that this is $8,000, this is $4,000, and this part here, transportation and savings together, is $4,000. But half of that $4,000 is for savings and half is for transportation. So it means that $4,000 divided by 2 would give us $2,000. So transportation is $2,000 and the savings is also $2,000, which brings us to our final answer, which says how much money did she save, and that would be $2,000. Brilliant, very good. All right, let us move on to our next question. Okay. All right. So let us move on to our next question. You can go ahead, take a screenshot of this, as well as you can come back to this question at the end of the live session. The video will be available for you, and for your friends who missed it, the video will always be here for them. All right, so also I want to remind you about tomorrow's ability test prep at 10 o'clock. So don't, oh yes, Dolores, too easy. But guess what? It's one of the past paper questions. All right, so be reminded that tomorrow is a live session that we will have at 10 a.m. All right, so let us look at this other question. This one says, how much money did Jessica's budget allow for housing in April of 2001? All right, so this here is another pie chart. This is another pie chart. And this is talking about Jessica's budget for 2001. At this part here, this is basically like it's a little guide telling us what she earned in January, February, all the way to June. And the question had asked, how much money did her budget allow for housing in April of 2001? All right, so go ahead, guys, and explore this one. Go ahead and explore this one, and let's hear your reasoning when you select your answer. All right. So you just go ahead, share your responses, and let's go through them. So you would realize that Jessica's budget, basically what Jessica spends her earnings on each month, is food, clothing, utilities, miscellaneous, housing. Those are the things that she spends her money on each month. Whatever she earns, these are the things she spends it on each month. All right. Yes, Tahira, the whole is 100%. Definitely. Because we know in a pie chart, all of this will give us 100%. Good. So we know that the whole is 100%, but now we want to talk about housing. We need to talk about housing. All right. So here, food is 25%. Clothing is 10%. Utilities is 20%. And miscellaneous is 20%. And finally, housing, which is what we're concerned with, is 25%. So, Damanish, when you said it has to be 100%, what do you mean? Do you mean the whole the pie chart must be 100%, or you're responding in regards to the answer, the final answer for this question? Because remember now, the final answer, it says how much money. So you guys should be giving me answers with the dollar sign, right? All right, Kelly says the whole is 1,000. Okay, so I think you made a mistake and added an extra zero there. So the whole is 100, because if you split it in just two, one side would be 50 and the other 50. So 50 and 50 is 100. Yes, very good. We know that, Kelly. So definitely we can talk about it like that. We split it in two like it is here, two halves. One side is 50%, the other is 50%. All right. So, all right, good, Damanish. So we know all of that. So we know the percentage, and I'm very proud that you guys know the percentage and know that this whole will represent 100%. And each segment, each part of this whole has its own percentage. So now that we know that and we have established that this whole is equal to 100%, and it tells us what she earns in January, what she earns in February, March, April, May, and in June. But of course, it's not asking about all the months. It's just asking about April. How much did her budget allow for housing in April? All right. So Lori says the answer is 622. Okay, now look at that, Lori. When we're talking about dollars and cents, if we're talking about cents, we're talking about two decimal places. All right, so you said 2,490. So I think you need to put your dollar sign on there. $2,490 over 1, and the 25 over 100 times the $2,490, and 25 equals 62,250 divided by 100 equal to 622.5. All right. All right. So let's look at this. I want to hear a few more responses, and we also need to pay note, key note of how we write our money, or we write dollars and cents. So I'm going to look firstly at Damanish's response. She wrote this for her answer. $622, and she wrote 50, and she has the cent symbol. Now remember that when you're writing dollars and cents, this dollar here and the decimal point indicates that whatever comes after the decimal point is definitely cents. So we don't need to write that little C at the end. Writing the little C at the end for cents is not correct when we don't write money like that. We only use our dollar sign. The point tells us that whatever comes after are fractions of $1. And so we don't put the little C, the cents symbol, at the end. All right, so let's talk about what you guys have here. So B Squad says his answer is $622.50. The amount of money she earned for April is $2,490, and the housing represents a quarter of the whole. So a quarter of $2,490 is $622.50. Very good, B Squad. Very good. Lovely explanation as well. Andreen says her budget for housing allowed. Okay, yes, Andreen, but what about your justification? How did you come up with that? Uh, Michaela Hamilton says it would be 2,500 multiplied by 2,490, and that will give us $622.50. All right, very good. So yes, I like your calculations, whether in numbers or your justification, whether in words. Very good, guys. Okay. All right. So Damanish, okay, I see where you wrote your answer again. So you have $622.50 because 2,500 is the same as a quarter. Subsequently, we can just use the denominator 4. So we can divide. Are you going to say divide? I think you left that out. We can divide 2,490 by 4. I don't think you're complete with your response here. All right. I see you guys are all on the same page and you are doing pretty well in your calculation. So let me go ahead as well and work out this question based on some of your explanations. So you went ahead and you identified April because that's the month we're concerned with, and it says housing. So we're going to look on the pie chart, which says 25%. What is 25% of 2,490? So we will definitely write it 25%, and that is the same as 2,500, which we write like this. So this is like one way to solve it. 2,500 of, we use our multiplication sign to represent of when we're going to calculate this, of $2,490. And we went ahead and we did our calculation. So we have, okay, 100. So we can say 25 divided into itself goes 1 time. 25 into 100 goes 4 times. And this brings us to where person said that we did not need to write the 2,500 because it's the same as a quarter. So we did not have to have 2,500s. Instead, we could have just written a quarter. And that's fine for the persons who are advanced enough to do that. But for others, do not be confused if you only understand to just work with the numbers that you have, but you can do further practice so you can reduce these large fractions to, a simpler and equivalent fraction. So here we are left with a quarter of 2,490, and we can go ahead and do our division. All right, so we can either draw up our division table or we can just say, okay, let's do it like this. So we're going to say 4 into itself goes 1 time, and we're going to divide this across here. So 4 into 24 goes 6 times. 4 into 9 goes 2 times with a remainder of 1. 4 into 10 goes 2 times. And the 2/4, which is the same as a half. All right, so these are all jumbled here, but if you're following, you should see what I'm writing. So our answer would be $622.50. Now, because we're talking about dollars, we're going to convert our half into decimals so we can have it as cents. And that is the answer all of you have been sharing with me. You have been sharing your answer using decimals. And I hope that you actually did the calculation on your own and you weren't just aided by your calculators. So because we have a half, 622, and a half or 2/4, you know that a half in decimal is the same as 0.5. But when we're talking about dollars and cents, we need two decimal places. So if we add a zero at the end, it will still mean 0.5. All right. So yes, our final answer would be the same answer you guys have been telling me, which is really good, $622.50. And you guys gave me some lovely explanations, which means that if you get a similar question with different numbers, you should be able to solve this. All right, very good. All right, very good. All right. All right, so let us move on to another part of this task. All right, so this is just a follow-up to that part. And here it says that if Jessica spent only 20% instead of the 25% allotment for food in May of 2001, how much did she save? So if she only spent 20% instead of the 25% that we see here for May, for food in May, how much did she save? Now, I want to see what you guys will do with this one. I want to see how you will work this out, what answer you will come up with, or what your explanation is. Let's talk about this a little. So go ahead, you can do your calculations and share that with us. So it's the same pie chart, same information. So you just need to, take out the important points, whether you're going to highlight them, underline them, or circle them, whatever, and then you proceed to answering your question. So it said that she spent 20% instead of the normal 25% for food in May. So how much did she save then? Let me hear what you guys think. Let me see your strategy, your method, the procedure you are undertaking to solve this one. I mean, of course, I know you're all stars, but I still like to know. All right. Okay, let me see what you guys have here. And remember, when we're talking about dollars and cents, we have two decimal places, not one. And we have our dollar sign at the beginning, not the end. And definitely, if we have a point and those two decimal places, we also do not need to write that little C with the slash across it at the end that says cents. The dollars in front and the decimal point already tells us that we are talking about, you're representing dollars and cents. So Michaela is the first to respond. Let me look at what she's saying. So she's okay. She has retracted that message, no problem. Damonish says that she saved $131.10. But I don't know how, Damonish. You need to send your explanation, send your justification. Let us know how you got that for your answer. I mean, what if someone said that she saved $148.32? How can you justify to show that your answer is truly correct? All right. So Damanish is saying she found a quarter of 2,622 and then 1/5 of 2,622. All right. So you found the quarter of that. So you found a quarter of 2,622 and that the quarter is what? Tell us. And then you said you found 1/5 of 2,622. Is that what you really did? Did you find 1/5 of that same number? So why did you find a quarter of it in the beginning if now you're going to find 1/5? All right, so go ahead and give us a more precise explanation. Andrine is saying that first you have to find what is 20% or 1/5 of 2,622, and that is $524.40. And then you take it away from 2,622. Okay, Andrine, I think you're incomplete here though, because I'm not seeing where you're leading with your answer. All right. All right. So Damanish is continuing to say then she subtract them and got, oh, so you're saying that you found a quarter of $2,622 and then you found a fifth of it, and then you subtracted those quotients, those responses, and then okay. Okay, a quarter of, okay. All right, let's all follow together or go ahead and share your response. So Damanish is saying that a quarter of $2,622 is $655.50. All right, so we're not explaining A. Williams. We're solving this problem on our own. So we're solving the problem on our own. I'm just discussing what other persons have shared based on what they are working out. All right, so go ahead, attempt it, come up with an answer, and let's talk about your answer. All right. All right, so let's talk about now 1/5 of 2,622. And then you said you subtracted and you got $131.10. All right. All right, so that is your strategy. Okay. All right. All right. Yes, definitely Damanish. That is what it said. So I need to see what the others are saying. So while you guys are thinking about it or still solving, let's talk about it a little. For me, she earned $2,622. So that's very important in solving. And Tyra says 25%. Okay, so 25% of 2,622 is equal to $665.50 and 20%. Okay, and then you do a subtraction. So Tahira took the same approach as Damanish. Very good. Michaela says 20 hundredths multiplied by 2,622 is $542.40. Therefore, where is she? And the 25 hundredths times 2,622 is $655.50 because it says 20% instead of 25%. You're going to subtract and you will get $131.10. Very good as well, Michaela. So I see where you guys are catching up now, and you guys are doing pretty well in your justification. All right, Gianor Allwood says what he did was he found a quarter of 2,622, which is $655.50. Remember your units, guys. He then found 1/5 of 2,622, which is $524.40, and then he subtracted those and he got $131.10. All right, so I see where a lot of you are on your way. So let me go through this. So I realized that there are at least two strategies. Okay, I'm sorry, Jayanor. So there are at least two strategies that I'm seeing being explained so far. So let's use just one and solve this. All right, so Jessica spent, let me find somewhere to put this. Jessica spent 20% instead of 25% allotment for food in May 2001. All right, so basically, we need to know what 25% is. That is one way. So 25% of what she spent in May is the same as, and we had looked at how we can solve that from the first one in a simpler way. We could just divide 2. Let me get another color. We could just divide our 2,622 by 4 by 4 because we're talking about a quarter. So 2,622. We're dividing that by 4 because we're finding a quarter of that because we want to see what you normally spend on food. So a quarter of that is what? Can you guys go ahead and do your calculation? What is a quarter of 2,622? Go ahead and share that with me there in the chat. I want everyone to participate. A quarter of 2,622 is equal to what? All right, go ahead and tell me what it is equal to. And no problem if you round it. Okay, so all right, I see person saying 655,000. $655.50. Yeah, and we can definitely round it instead. So yes, what we would get is $655.50, and let's round that up because we're going to do some more calculation with it. So let's just round that up. So 4 into itself goes one time, and let's just round it up a little here. 655. We could round that to 656. All right, so let's say we round that to 656. We could even leave it the same way, but I realize that you may be using calculators for this, and so it's quite easy, but you won't have calculator in your exam, so let's look at it like this. So we have 656. Say that's what she earns, but this month instead of using a quarter on food, she's using a fifth on food instead, because 20% is the same as 1/5. See right here, 20%, which is 20 hundredths, is the same as 1/5. So for the persons who are not really seeing immediately why this is 1/5, if we have 20 divided by 20, that will be 1 time. 100 divided by 20, that would be 5 times. So what we need to do then is that we need to divide 656 by 5 so that we know what she will save. Because when we're dividing this 656 by 5, we're actually dividing it into fifths. 4 of those fifths represent what she will spend on food this month in May, and that means that 1/5 is what she will be saving. So let us go ahead and do that calculation here. So we have 656, and we're dividing that by 5 because she's saving 1/5 of this today for this month. All right, great, no problem. I like it that you didn't. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our calculations here. So we have 5 divided by 5 goes 1 time. Okay, let's try that. 5 into 656. You guys can go ahead and calculate that. I'm going to do it here the long way because I want persons to see the little steps I'm taking to divide this real quick without a calculator. But you can go ahead and do your division real quick in your books and tell me. So 5 into 6, 1 time. Remainder here. 5 into 15, 3 times. 5 into 6, 1 times, and 1/5. All right, so we have this 5 times and 1/5. So 131 times and 1/5. So of course, 1/5 here would definitely be representing 20 cents. However, remember that we rounded this up. So this will be our answer. So we rounded that up so we can use it. We can calculate it with it much simpler. So therefore, our answer would be $131.10. And it's good when you can take the simple steps. You can take the simple steps here. Once you can do them real quick, but you know, we all need to practice to use our simple steps when we are calculating. especially in the absence of a calculator. So very good, guys. Our correct answer here is $131.10. And I hope that everyone saw how we actually calculated this. All right. All right, Kaylee. So you don't need to put the word cents at the end. You just need your dollar sign in front. So right here, you just need your dollar sign. Just like in the answer, you just need your dollar sign. All right. Okay, guys. So very good with that one. Very good participation. And let's move on to the next question. All right. Now, the next set of questions, we have 3 more questions, and these questions will be about patterns and rules. Now, this is really something that you would have been doing in class, I'm assuming, and you would have seen this in some of my previous videos as well. But what we're going to do tomorrow, the things that we're going to do tomorrow, I like to know that we have this knowledge from today to help us with those questions tomorrow, because we will be looking at mock papers tomorrow and so on. And I think it's very important that we know these things to help us for tomorrow's session. All right, so we're looking at rules and patterns. So let's look at the first one. Here we have a table, and the table shows shape number and number of matchsticks. We also have some designs or some shapes that are being made from matchsticks. And so we're going to use the function rule to find the number of matchsticks needed for the shape in the 20th position. And we can also, practice some other random, number position as well. So here we have shape number 1. And this is what shape number 1 looks like. We have shape number 2. This is what it looks like. Shape number 3. That is what it looks like. However, we don't have shape 20. And if it is that we were to figure out how many matchsticks are there in shape 20, I mean, are we going to actually be drawing these different patterns until we have the 20th pattern or the 20th shape? So that is where rules and patterns come, very handy. That's how they come very important. So yes, Michaela, I like how you noticed that it is going by 4. But can you look, instead of talking about the table yet, let us look at the shapes before we talk about the table. Let us look at the shapes. In shape number 1, what can you tell me about shape number 1, guys? So, all right. So, yes, it is going up by 4. But what can you tell me about shape number 1? And when you tell me what we're talking about shape number 1, what can you tell me about? Yes, it's increasing by 4. We're looking at the shapes. So shape number 1, what can you tell me about shape number 1? And what can you tell me about shape number 2? So let me see what's happening here. The Manish says the matchsticks are going up multiples of 3. Okay, I'm not really sure where you saw that, but let's talk about the shapes first. All right, and then you can check to see if what you're saying is quite accurate. All right, so, okay. All right, so Alicia Henry says, you could multiply 20 by 4. Okay, we're not there as yet. I want us to talk about the shapes. All right, so it's Anissa says they're adding the same numbers, then add its answer. Talking about the shape. Kaylee says, I see the pattern, it keeps adding 4. All right, very good, Emily Kings. That is what I wanted someone to say. There are 4 matchsticks in shape number 1. Very good, Tahira. Shape number 1, and yes, it formed a square, Giovanni. Yes, it is 1 square, but we're talking about it in relation to matchsticks. And shape number 1 has 4 matchsticks. That's the first step you need to take when you're when you're coming up with a rule to figure out a pattern. You have to think about what makes up the first shape, what makes up the second one, the third one, what is related with all these shapes. So you look at shape number 1 and you see where there are 4 matchsticks. I want you guys to point those things out. This is 4 matchsticks here. Yeah. When we talk about shape number 2, yes, Emily, we've got 8 because we've got 4 here and we've got another 4 here. So we've got 8 matchsticks in shape number 2. And in shape number 3, quite obvious, we've got 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 12, right? So we've got 12 matchsticks in shape number 3. Now, of course, what if you didn't get this table down here and you had to come up with your own table? How would you have done that? Now, in this case here, you realize that the table is already done for you. In some cases, you might have to come up with your own table based on the information and based on these shapes. So you look now in the table and it says shape number. You see all the shape numbers going across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 20. And you also see the number of matchsticks that is used in each shape. Shape number 1 has 4, shape number 2 has 8, shape number 3 has 12. And if you observe the shape number, if you observe the number of matchsticks, you should be able to come up with a pattern so far. What pattern do you see? I see persons saying each time you multiply the shape number by 4. All right. So let's talk about what you're seeing. All right, Danielle say for each shape there are 4 matchsticks added. Very good. Good. So that is what I want us to notice. I see persons going ahead, and that is really good. Tahira and Kaylee, I see you guys going ahead and saying shape 4 has 16. So far you guys have already established that we're increasing by 4. We're adding 4 each time. And so since we're adding 4 each time, if we add 4 to 4, we get 8 for shape 2. 4 to 8, we get 12 for shape 3. 4 to 12, we get 16 as you guys just shared for shape 4. And for shape 5, let me see if anyone has shared that. Yes, shared that as yet. All right. All right, okay. So for shape 5, all right, Tahira says 20 because 4 plus 16 will give us 20. Now we have jumped to shape 20. Do we add 4 plus 20 and get 24 and say there are 24 matchsticks at shape 20? Do we say that? I want to know, do we keep adding even though the shape number is not going up consecutively? Do we keep following that pattern we have been using before and keep adding 4 each time, even though we have skipped out 6, 7, 8 all the way down to 19 and we have 20? No, we don't. Thank you guys. No, we don't. But instead, we have to now come up with a rule. So let us look at the relationship between the shape number and the number of matchsticks. For the first shape number, shape number 1, we've got 4 matchsticks. So here we know for every shape, we have 4 matchsticks because shape number 2 has 8. So you can say that for every, all right, multiplication must be used, JNR. Yes, we can multiply because when we're doing the rule, multiplication is much more easier than to add. So once you have noticed all of this, you can come up with your own function rule. So let's look at it. The function rule here is saying the number of matchsticks, because that is what we're trying to find out. The number of matchsticks for the 20th position is equal to what? When you look at the shape number and the number of matchsticks, what relationship are they having? How do you think you moved from this shape number 1 to 4 matchsticks here? What kind of calculation are you doing? How did you move to say, okay, at shape number 2, you have 8 matchsticks? What kind of calculation are you doing? Because remember now, a rule has to be general. It has to be a general rule that no matter where in this same pattern you plug that rule in, you should be coming up with your answer. Okay, guys, I see you guys sharing your answer, but let's talk about this. What is the relationship between the shape number and number of matchsticks? How are we figuring this out? Multiples of 4. Yes, they're definitely multiples of 4. And so, in order to get the number of matchsticks, if we multiply 1 by 4, we get the number of matchsticks in shape number 1. If we multiply the shape number 2 by 4, because each design gives you 4 matchsticks added each time, you'll get 8. 2 times 4 gives you 8. You're noticing that as well. And you look here, 3 times 4 gives you 12. So here you're seeing so far that the shape number multiplied by what gives you a number of matchsticks. All right, go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and write your function rule in an equation. You're going to have number of matchsticks equals shape number multiplied by, and you write the number. Go ahead, because that's how you write that's how we write rules. We don't just write a number, or we write a rule like an equation, so, or an expression. So in this case, we will have what? Number of matchsticks is equal to shape number multiplied by what? All right, Daniel said for every shape, we have 4 matchsticks added. In order to get our answer and find out how many matchsticks are there in the shape, we would multiply by 4. Okay, all right, very good. So it means then that the function rule is what? I should see you writing number of matchsticks equals shape number multiply, and you write whatever number, or write whatever you think should go on that line, so I can see what the function rule is from your side. Okay, all right. Number of shape multiplied by 4. Number of shape is the shape number, JNR. So not number of shape, but shape number. Number of matchsticks equals shape number times 4. Very good, Michaela. Very good, Andrine. All right. Now, Damani Johnson, we're not yet there. We're deriving our function rule. All right. Very good, Tahira. So yes, that is our function rule. Number of matchsticks is equal to shape number multiplied by 4. So we already know our function rule. So we can solve this, right? Easily. We can solve this, because if we need to find out the number of matchsticks in the 20th position and we know the function rule, how will we solve that? All right, we don't know the number of matchsticks, so we can call the number of matchsticks what? N, don't it? Yes, man, we can call the number of matchsticks N. That is what we're finding, because N would now be called a variable. It's the unknown. It's the missing value that we're trying to figure out. So the number of matchsticks, that is N, equal to shape number 20 multiplied by 4. So this means then that N, which is the number of matchsticks, is equal to 20 times 4. That will give us 80. And I see all of you have already calculated this. So yes, we will have 80 in this position, in the 20th position. What if I asked you though? What if I asked you, what would the number of matchsticks be in the 37th position? What would you have? Number of matchsticks in the 37th position. How many matchsticks would that be? Number of matchsticks in the 37th position. Very good, guys. Very good. That is how I want to see you use up your algebra skills to solve these questions. So tell me, the 37th position, what would the number of matchsticks be in the 37th position? All right, let me see what you guys are doing there. I want to see if you're transferring learning. Very good, JNR. So JNR has 37 multiplied by, where are you? By 4 equal 148. All right. All right. Now I see some answers coming in. Giovanni Sinclair, go ahead and okay, good. I see you catch up on your mistake. No problem with that. We all make mistakes, no problem. Check out what you have, Kaylee. Look at what you have. I see you with n equal 37 times 4 equal 248. Go ahead and check on that. All right, very good, Damani. Very good, guys. Now, I like where you wrote your equation and you plugged in those values. Very good. All right, so yes, definitely for the 37th position, we will have, let me just write that right here, we will have 148 matchsticks. Very good. Now let us move to another one, quite similar because we're practicing. So it's quite similar. And I want to see that you are using what you're learning from each step to build what you have in the next one. All right, very good, Michaela. Each time you multiply the shape number by 4, so 37 multiplied by 4 is 148. Very good, Megan. All right, so let us move to the next question. Now, look at this one. Here we've got shape 1, shape 2, shape 3. You are now to tell me how many matchsticks are needed at shape are used that will be used at shape 4, shape 5, shape 20. All right, so before we get into that, tell me, look at shape 1. Remember now we have to take this step by step because we can't not all of us will be able to just jump into it and just solve. If you look at shape 1, let's look at what shape 1 has. How many matchsticks are there? It forms a hexagon, so there are 6 matchsticks. Very good, Michaela. So it has 6 matchsticks. We look at shape number 2, and basically what we did, we just add, we have now 2 of shape 1. So basically we're adding whatever 6 matchsticks that we started out with each time, because all we're doing is adding the shape 1 shape each time. We're adding 6 matchsticks each time. We're going to shape 3, and you see we have our 3 hexagons here. So yes, we're adding a hexagon with 6 matchsticks each time. If we go ahead and we look at, all right guys, very good. If we go ahead and we look at the table that is given to us now, but won't always be given to us, you notice here that shape 1 has 6 matchsticks, like we already observed in the shapes. Shape 2 has 12, shape 3 has 18. But when you compare these relationships and compare each shape, number, and matchsticks, you look at it. What is the relationship? What do you think? What do you think this function rule will be? Go ahead, guys, and share the function rule in the chat. I see Kadeen Dennis saying number of matchsticks is equal to shape number times 6. Okay, I see Tahira saying the same thing. All right, guys, you guys are so quick. All right, very good. Now, I like that you guys have derived your function rule so far. That is very good. Now that we know the function rule, and basically, if the shape number is listed here in consecutive order, that simply means then that we can keep adding 6 each time. But when it reached to number 5, it jumped from there to number 20. But thank goodness we know the function rule. So tell me, how many matchsticks will we have at shape number 4? Go ahead and share that in the chat. How many matchsticks will be there at shape number 4? Shape number 4 will have, let me see. Go ahead and share that. All right. Okay, guys. All right. Good. So shape number 4, we will have 24 matchsticks there. All right. So at shape number 5, how many matchsticks will be at shape number 5? You can definitely use the function rule, or you can just follow the pattern at this point. So tell me, at shape number 5, how many matchsticks will be needed? So we know the function rule. So once we multiply the shape number by 6, let me put that in because you guys have already established that, we will get 6 multiplied by 5. That will give us 30 because we know our function rule. So what about the 20th shape? How many matchsticks are needed there? The 20th shape, how many matchsticks are needed there? Go ahead, guys, share for me. At the 20th shape, how many matchsticks are needed? All right, so I'm seeing answers for the previous one. All right, okay, guys, I see you guys coming in now. 120 matchsticks are needed for the 20th shape. Very good. What about shape 51? How many matchsticks would be needed for shape 51? Go ahead and share that. Shape 51 will need how many matchsticks? So let me just add that to the side here. That's just a little extra learning. Shape 51. So you have the function rule. So this is easy cheese for you guys. Easy maths, right? I know. All right, Emily Kings. I see Emily Kings first with an answer. And she has 306. I like where Kaylee has 6 multiplied by 51 equals 306. I like that. I like to see where your equation in coming up with this. Yes, at shape 51, we will have 306 matchsticks. Brilliant, guys. Brilliant. All right, so that was quite what should I say? That was quite fun. And I see where you guys are very quick with your answers. Let us do one last one before we end today. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is the next one. And let's look at shape number 1, shape number 2, shape number 3, 4, 5, and shape 20. So go ahead in the chat, guys. First, I want you to, I'm not talking about it as much. I want all of you to share the function rule in the chat. What is the function rule? Remember, your function rule in this case is an equation. So I need to see this equal to this times this or whatever. Okay, guys? So I need to see your function rule. Yes, we're multiplying by 7. Brilliant. We're multiplying by 7. I see Emily says shape number multiplied by 7. Guys, we're talking about an equation here. Talking about an equation here. So remember, okay, very good, Keddy. Number of matchsticks is equal to shape number times 7. All right. Number of matchsticks equal shape number times 7. That's what Kedin says. And Whitley Ray Davis says the same thing. All right. Michaela Hamilton is also saying the same thing. All right. So I see a lot of person here, they're thinking about it in a similar way. Very good, guys. Very good. So now that we know that, and I do agree, because if you look at shape 1, you realize that whatever we have at shape 1, we have 2 of it at shape 2 and 3 of it at shape 3. We just keep adding that shape all the time. So at shape 1, for persons who are still not getting it, we just count the number of matchsticks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because if we did not get this table, we needed to do that to come up with our table anyway. So 7 matchsticks is in shape 1. We have 2 of shape 1 at shape 2, so that means that would be 14 matchsticks, and we have 3 of it at shape 3. So 3 of this first shape would be 21 matchsticks. So the table is representing that. You guys have shared your function rule and you say number of matchsticks equals shape number multiplied by 7. So tell me, at shape number 4, all right, I'm looking at what you guys are saying. Jane, Daniel and Jeanor says shape number 4. 7 multiplied by 4 is equal to 28. All right, that's shape number 4. All right, very good, guys, because it's saying that number of matchsticks is equal to the shape number multiplied by 7. So 4 times 7, the same as 7 times 4, that gives us 28. Let me see what you guys have said about shape number 5. Shape number 5, all right, I see Sean saying 35. I see Relisha saying 35. I see Daniel saying 35. All right, shape number 5. All right, so let me see. I need to see more people sharing what number 5, shape number 5 is. Kaylee says 7 times 5 equals 35. Shape 5, 35, Britannia says. Yes, guys. All right. Yes, because we are definitely, and I see Taira says shape 5 is 35 matchsticks. Because we are multiplying the shape number by 7. 5 times 7 is 35. So let's look at shape number 20. What would that be? Shape number 20. I want everyone to tell me about shape number 20. It's our last question for today. I want everyone to answer. Go ahead. Shape number 20 is equal to, go ahead and share your answer. All right. I see Kaylee saying n equals 7 times 20, which is equal to 140. All right. I see Mega saying 7 plus 7, open bracket 5 times 1 equals 35. Does that mean shape 7 equals 7 times 5? What is that really saying right there? I'm not understanding all of what you have written there. All right, Kaylee says 7 times 20 equals 140. Michaela says the same thing. Jayanor, thank you for showing that you're talking about shape 20. Very good, Jayanor. She says the same thing. Haley, the queen, says the same thing. Emily, Anisha. All right. All right. Whitley Ray. All right. All right, guys. Very good. So I see that we're all on the same page. We're using our function rule to figure this out. So it means 20 multiplied by 7 will give us 140. And so we'll have 140 matchsticks at shape number 20. Wow, you guys have done really, really good. All right, so we have come to the end of today's session, and your participation was very good as usual. And tomorrow I want to remind you, and I want you to remind your classmates and your friends, that tomorrow at 10 a.m. we will be doing another task, another ability test task. We'll be looking at some past paper items. So go ahead, share the link with your friends so that they all can join us tomorrow, okay? All right, so I hope you enjoyed today, and I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. All right, so join me tomorrow, guys. Bye-bye.